Boy, do I have some juicy news for you today in the coding bootcamp world. We're going to be talking about a tweet that Austen, the CEO of Lambda School, made about their fellowship program. But before I start, welcome to the Tech Rally channel, where we talk about coding, life of a developer, and tips and tricks to help aspiring developers break into the space. I'm always grateful for the likes and subscribes, but if you're here just for the content, welcome to the channel. Also, before I begin, I want to say that anything I say here is my opinion, and it's up to you to make up your own conclusions about the story and speculations. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get into it. So if you aren't up to date with Twitter news, and especially software developer Twitter news, Austen Allred, the CEO of Lambda School, posted what he thought was a good feel story to help his graduates land jobs. Unfortunately, the Twitter community response was fairly negative, causing him to delete the original tweet and making some clarifying statements afterwards. Let's dive into what happened and I'll share my thoughts. First, we have to read the tweet that kind of got him in the hot water. I do want to mention that he did delete the tweet after some negative press. Fortunately, people were able to save some screenshots of the old tweet, so thank you Twitter fam for being able to do that. Of course, we'll read the updated tweet later. Today, Austen wants to remind everyone that he is an awful exploitive individual. Lambda students are set up with a month-long unpaid internships at a company under the guise of a trial run for the engineer. I say guise because this will be 100% exploited for free labor. Is that true? Let's read his actual original tweet. This may be the most important thing we've ever done at Lambda School, introducing Lambda School Fellows. Bring an engineer onto your team for 4 weeks at no cost to your company. We onboard them quickly and show you how much and fast they ship. The response of Silver Strike Codes was fairly negative, and it was probably one of many negative comments that Austen got. Right off the bat, Austen got slammed by people claiming that he was exploiting students for unpaid labor, this was illegal, you name it. What probably triggered a lot of people was this little bitty part that said bring an engineer onto your team for 4 weeks at no cost for your company. Personally, when I read this, I'm kind of on the same camp of it felt like these Lambda fellows would just work for free. Even on their fellowship program website, there was a question that asked, is this a paid program? And it just said no. They have since changed their FAQ, clarifying that Lambda School will pay the fellows for the 4 weeks that they do work. But just so that I'm not lying here, we do have a screenshot confirming the original answer where they just said no about the paid internship. So what was the motivation for the change of language here? Was this always true, or was there so much backlash from the community that Lambda School was forced to add this? We don't really know, but I can speculate that this was changed because of the backlash from the community. Maybe Lambda School pitched this program to their students saying that yes, this is an unpaid experience, but it could also be taken as an opportunity for you to get your foot in that door so you could land that first job. Who really knows? But what I do know is that they had to fix the language and the logistics, and it's good to see that these students are actually going to be paid for the 4 weeks that they're there. I've been following Lambda School for a while, and I know Austen has his supporters, but he also has a lot of haters. When he posted about the fellowship program, the lynching began, and it was pretty intense, but I would say it was highly justified. It was either a lack of oversight of not mentioning students would get paid in the original tweet, or Lambda School didn't really plan on paying their students. Whichever side you're on, it's going to be a bad look. The first shows a lack of awareness to do proper QA on a tweet mentioning a newly created program, especially because this is something that's new and in an experimental phase. Austen could have saved himself a lot of negative comments by adding that fellows would get paid. He obviously did this in the new tweet. How Lambda fellows work. A Lambda fellow works at your company for 4 weeks at no cost. Lambda School pays the fellow. If you decide to hire them, you pay Lambda School back for the 4 weeks. If not, you pay $0. If Lambda School was never going to pay their students before changing this language, then shame on them. I've always expressed in my channel that I believe all software developers should get paid regardless of level. In this day and age, people need to get paid. No ifs, ands, or buts. You need money to pay for food, rent, and honestly, you're doing a very high technical skill that's really stressful. Only as a last resort would I really consider an unpaid internship or an unpaid developer job. When I say last resort, I mean from a perspective of I've been on a job hunt for a year or 2 years, nothing is really working out, and I need to take some kind of risk of working at an unpaid internship so I can at least update my LinkedIn and show my work experience. My last concern about this program is that yes, you get paid for the 4 weeks, but what exactly happens afterwards? Lambda School needs to clarify this part, but it sounds like you either get the job or you don't. But this can be kind of tricky too. Let's talk about a scenario if you don't get a job. Will Lambda School provide you financial support again, and up to how much? We also don't consider the morale factor of the student when losing a job in this kind of manner. 1 month is a very short time to evaluate a person and their skills, and I would assume you'll be under the gun to perform. But as an aspiring developer, you might need to take those shots, and sometimes it just might not work out. On the other side of the coin, you do get the offer. Congratulations, you prove not only to yourself, but to your future employer that you could work and get paid for what you do. But what would happen if your offer letter is not ideal? What if they're paying you really little and not what you expected? What if you're on an income share agreement and the company decided to pay you the bare minimum amount to trigger that ISA? If you're not familiar with income share agreements, you could watch my video about it, where I talk about the dangers of an ISA. You have no leverage to negotiate your salary at this point. I'm pretty sure these companies and Lambda School have some kind of agreement where they talk about the salary band or the range. Are they actually gonna share this with you beforehand? Who really knows? It's a slippery slope, and I wanna feel too comfortable from that point of view. But at the same time, I do have to acknowledge that in the beginning of your career, getting your foot in the door is way more important than your initial salary. I personally wasn't too happy about my salary. It was enough for me to survive and live in New York City. But granted, I was not on an ISA, so I didn't have to cough up the 15% of my income. But if you are on an ISA and do the fellowship program, you might feel forced to work at that company with a low salary, and it could be really tough. I personally feel that Austen and Lambda School aren't really trying to exploit their students specific to the fellowship program. It's very easy for software developers who have jobs, getting messages from recruiters every single day, to really just point out these flaws and consider them exploitation. But after talking to a lot of aspiring developers and the struggles that they go through, it really is hard to find that first job. It may not be the best job in the world. It may not be the best paying job in the world either, but getting that foot in the door is more important in my opinion, because it really boosts your presence to recruiters and hiring managers. What do you guys think about the Lambda School Fellowship? Could they have done a better job marketing this? Is this program even legit? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.